Hare Krishna, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, today we'll start the session. Today we'll be seeing basic topics like variables, expressions. Is my voice echoing?
A little bit.
Now is it fine?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is my screen visible? Okay, so we'll be seeing some basic topics like variables, expressions, and statements, and we will complete the remaining part of yesterday's part as well. So this is Google Colab. So here also this is similar to Jupyter Notebook. You will be having two kinds of blocks. This is the Markdown block and this is the code block. So to edit the Markdown block, you can double click it. So like this, you will be getting the code related to this Markdown block. Basically, this is a markup language. Markdown is a markup language. Just like HTML, you have tags to format text, etc. Here also you will have, for example, this hash. This hash is used to control the size of the text. For example, if you use double slash, let's say here, then you can see that the size of this A is smaller than this one. So it is, as you increase the number of hashes, the font size will reduce. You can see it here. So similarly, you can format. There are various things that we can see about the Markdown as well. We'll be just going through some of the basic things. You can, when you open Google Colab, you'll automatically get a guide to how to work with Google Colab and how and about the Markdown as well. So we can see this here. So Markdown is basically a simple markup language. So you can use double star to get bold text, and you can use single star for italics, or you can use a underscore. For strike through, you can use this tilde. And as I said, here we can control the font size by using the number of hashes. As you increase the number of hashes, this font size will reduce. If we want to indent it, we can use this arrows. If you use one arrows, it is one space. I mean, not exactly one space. It is one level of indentation. And if you use two arrows, then you get two levels of indentation. For example, in this way, here there is this space, here there is double space as compared to this. If you want to insert code block within a markdown, then you can use this triple backtick. We can we this is a way to include code in the markdown block. This is not exactly the code block. For example, here you want to write, let's say, some code. It is not this. It is not the single quote. It is backtick. So you need, if you use single quote, it becomes a comment. Okay. So this is a backtick and not a single quote. So you need to be careful about that. So now you see that this is a code block within a markdown block. This is not executable. You are putting a a piece of code in your text. It is like writing the code in the text. It is not executable code, but this is a code block. Here you can execute it. So if you want to include some code in your text, then you can use this kind of uh, triple backtick. If you want to add a code block below this, you can just hover over this uh, bottom line, then you'll get these two options. If you click this, then a code block will be added. If you click this, then a text block will be added. Here you can use a markup language like this. Then you can see the output which is going to be printed. So if you are satisfied with that, you can just go to the next one, and it will uh, it will be displayed like the above one. You can delete it like this. And to execute the code block, you can click this one, or you can also use Control plus Enter. As you can see, it is initializing and connected to Python 3. We had discussed yesterday that there are two versions, and we are going to use Python 3. So here Python 3 is being used. So now you can see that it is executed, and we have the output here, hello world. If you want to execute a next one, you can just do it like this. And you can now see that there is a number here, 1 here. You can see 1, right? So that indicates that was a code block which was executed first. And now you have executed this, and therefore it shows a number 2 here. As you can see, for an unexecuted block, there is no number displayed in the square brackets. You can visualize this. This is will be more visible in a Jupyter notebook. Most of the things are common between Colab and Jupyter Notebook. It is actually the Jupyter Notebook itself hosted by Google, and it is called as Colab. There might be some changes regarding the way markup language is used, but most of the things are same. I hope all of you have completed installing Python and Anaconda. Some of them had problem. Those who have problem, please contact any of the seniors personally. I think most of them have installed Python on VS Code. How many of you have done installation of pip or Anaconda? Please raise your hand. So most of you have not done Anaconda, I guess. Have you done or no? Can anybody speak of? Okay, should we demonstrate how to install Anaconda, or should we give more a video or something like that for Anaconda as well? Any Y23 kindly respond by speaking up or chat. Some people have done Anaconda, but what about others? Any Y23? Okay, so I think you have not done Python as well, right? In VS Code. For that, you can contact personally. We will share a video for installation of Anaconda as well, or we will take a some like demonstrate. Well, we'll demonstrate it as well if possible in a separate session. Okay, like we'll do it today itself, either a video or a separate session. Is that fine for everyone? Okay, we'll. So I think you have got familiar with how to use Google Colab. So you can just add code blocks. You can run them. You can add text using the markup language that is Markdown, and you know how to control fonts and bold, italics, and all those things. Most of the things are we normally write text itself. We just have to control the font usually. For other details, you can just open Colab. So when you open Colab, you get these kind of things getting started. So you can, I think my screen was not visible.
No, it is visible.
Visible? Even the Markdown tab.
Yes.
Okay. So this is visible getting started.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you open Colab, you get this kind of thing. So you can go through how to use Colab. So all the details are mentioned here. These are simple details. You can just get it by reading as well. We have also told, we have also described the basic things. Even without reading, you can proceed with using Google Colab and just with whatever we have told now. For more details regarding Markdown language, you can go to this guide to Markdown. Then you will come to this one. Here, all the different things are given. For example, so we can see here this one, we have discussed this. We have discussed the font. We have discussed this uh, writing the code blocks within the Markdown. And there are how you can see how to do ordered list, unordered list, and so on. So equations, mathematical equations also you can write. So these are not used commonly. That is why we are not discussing it. Those who are interested can see that and use that. So now we'll go to this one. So variables, expressions, and statements. So what is a statement? So a statement is an executable instruction that you give to your computer, or basically to the Python interpreter in this case. So those who are new to programming, this is the basic definition you can take for a statement. For example, this is print hello world is a statement. This is telling the Python interpreter to print this string hello world. So it is basically an instruction that is given to the Python interpreter. And as we discussed yesterday, one statement is written on a single line. If you're writing more than one statement on a single line, you need to use a semicolon. And if you're writing a single statement in two different lines, you will have to use a backslash. You can execute this and it prints hello world. So there are constants or values. You can say there are different types of values or constants. So what are the constants that we use, or what we know? We know numbers, we know alphabets, we know a group of alphabets that is basically strings. Group of alphabets or alphanumeric characters is basically a string. So a string can include characters, special characters, and numbers as well. And a string is enclosed in single quotes or double quotes. In Python, you can use either single quotes or double quotes. So the values or constants in Python are basically numbers, strings, and characters. So there is not actually much difference between character and string in Python. There is only one data type, like string. So if you want to use a single character, you can just write like this. This is a character as well as a string. It is not it is unlike C, where you use char for single quotes where you enclose only one character, and in string you use double quotes where you can enclose more than one character. Here there is only one thing for everything, whether you use a single letter or a group of characters. So as we discussed yesterday, for print, you can pass any constant or you can pass a variable as well. You can pass a list, you can pass any object, and it will print the value of it. If you pass a constant, it will print the same thing too. So in Python, there are different types. So as you know, you have data types in C as well, int, float, char, etc. In Python, it is more simpler. You have only three types: int, str, and float. Integer, string type, and floating point number. So in Python, actually, these are you cannot call them exactly like the data types which are used in C. These are in Python, everything is an object. So those who are not familiar with the object and everything, you need not worry. You just know that everything in Python is an object. For example, this one is an object of int type or int class, you can say. This is an object of string class, str. So you can just take it. You can just take it like a data type, but it is not exactly a data type like in C. You can just remember that, because we will see that there are different other things as well. We'll see that later, and then you will understand it. So we'll talk about the int type, integer type. Int type consists of any integers, negative, positive, zero. So you can use this type function, which gives the type of that parameter which you pass to it. Suppose you have passed type 1. Since 1 is an integer, it prints int. You can pass -1 and then still you get int. And you can pass 0 as well. So it's basically integers which print int. And then you have floating point numbers. So if you have a decimal point, then it prints float. Even if you have, even if you just write 1.0, -1.0, it still prints float. Because as long as you use a decimal point, it consider it as float. Although it is -1.0 is same as -1, uh, for the Python interpreter, it is float. But when you write -1, it is int. And for a group of characters enclosed within single quotes or double quotes, it is a string. You can, within the string, you can write characters, that means letters, special characters like comma, exclamation. You can also include some numbers. It can be anything. It will be a string. So same thing. Here, see here, if you enclose the 23 within double quotes, then it will be considered as string because you have enclosed within double quotes. Anything enclosed within double quotes will be taken as a string. It doesn't take it as an integer, although it might appear that 23 is an integer. So variables are basically some you can say some blocks which you allocate in the memory. So variables are some spaces which you allocate in the memory and you give some name to it. And these are used to store some value. Let's say it is some box with some name, and you store different values in it. For example, when you write message is equal to, now we are going to do something new. So message is some box which Python creates in the memory, and it stores this string into that. So whenever you want to refer to this string, you can use the name given to that box, that is message. And then you can write n equal to 23, then it creates a box with name n and stores 23 and so on. One important thing to note here is that we are not writing any data type, or we are not writing str message or int n, unlike what we do in C, etc. Python automatically takes care of the type. So you have assigned a string, so it will automatically make the type of the message as str. You have assigned 23, it will make n as a int type automatically. If you put it in single or double quotes, then n will become a str type variable. So Python will automatically choose the type for you. You need not worry about the types. So this is one another interesting fact and useful fact about Python. Also, like yesterday's uh, slides, there was also this point that variables are pointers in Python. So those who are not familiar with pointers, no problem. Those who want to read it can read that part. It just means that uh, this name is actually a pointer to that memory. It is not like in C or other things where name is not actually a pointer. Like in C or C++, you can see that array name is a pointer, but variable name is not a pointer. But in Python, even variable names are pointers. But we need not worry about that right now. So we are going to deal with basic things today. So I hope everybody understood what is a variable. So if you want to print, so if you write the print and you pass pi to it. So this pi, we had declared, we had given the value 3.1417 to pi here. So we had created a box with name pi and we had put 3.1417 into that. So when you come here and execute this, so it will print the value which is present in this variable. So this value is referred by the name of this variable. So that is what is the use of variables. And later you can change the value of this variable as well. Like this. Now if you try to print pi, then it prints the new value. So basically, a variable is a box where you can store values. You can change the value stored in it, and the value which the variable corresponds to will be the latest value that you have given to it. So once you put 3 here, 3.1417 will be overwritten. So it is no more present. Also note that here in Google Colab, different code blocks are related. That means um, you have you had executed this block before this one, so it knew what was pi. If you had not executed this one, then it would not know what is pi. Meaning it is the order in which you execute the code blocks is the order is like the order in which you write the statements in your program. Suppose you do this in runtime, you do this restart session. If you restart session, then all the things which you have run will be erased. For example, let's do it once. See here, runtime including all local variables will be lost. So whatever you have run will be lost. You will have to it is like starting the this Google Colab newly. It is like it becomes new. Suppose we have done this. Now you can see that the numbers here have gone. That means they are not yet executed. Here you can see the empty square brackets here and here. So if you try to execute this one now, it prints an error because we have not executed this one. It doesn't know what is pi because pi is a variable that we have given, but we have not yet executed this. So the Python interpreter does not know what is pi right now. So it gives error name pi is not defined. Suppose I execute this first and now again I execute this. Now it prints properly. So you can see how Google Colab works and how Python takes care of variables. So we have seen this type function, which is used to get the type of any variable or a constant like this. So we had seen if you pass a constant, it gives the type. If you pass a variable, it gives the type of that variable or basically the type of the value stored in that variable. In message, we had stored a string, so it gives str. Similarly, these examples. So next we go to identifier. So what is an identifier? Identifier is a name which is given to a Python object. That means variable names are identifiers, function names are identifiers, class names are identifiers, object names are identifiers. So all the names that you give, or all the names which you define, all are identifiers. So there are some rules for writing identifiers, for defining identifiers. That means they cannot be keywords. They can contain letters and numbers and underscore. They cannot contain any other special symbol like uh, this exclamation or at the rate or star, etc. Identifiers cannot start with a number. Identifiers are case sensitive. That means if you use small letter VAR1 and capital letter VAR2, these will be two different names, or they will be two different. Uh, they will refer to two different things. They won't refer to the same thing. That means Python is a case sensitive language. Suppose you define like this: 1a is equal to 3. So you want to define a variable called 1a and you're storing 3 in it. But this is not correct, because a variable name cannot start with a number. So if you try to execute this, you can see that invalid decimal literal. That means this is an invalid thing. You cannot give a variable name starting with a number. If you write something like this, you want to give the name as a star into a star b. This is an invalid name, because you cannot have any special characters in a variable name apart from underscore. So if you try to execute this, again it gives an error, syntax error. The only thing you can use is underscore as a special character. Now it will work fine. A underscore b is a valid name. So, so we have discussed with respect to variable names. So same rules are applying for function names, etc. Function names, object names, everything. So because all these are identifiers. So these are general rules for identifiers. And apart from identifiers, we have keywords. Keywords are reserved words in Python. That means these are not words which we have created. Like this one is a variable name which I gave. I can create any variable name here, which are following those rules. But these keywords are reserved words which are already inbuilt. These have special meaning to the Python interpreter. For example, if you write, which one we have seen? We have seen if else, for example. So if you write if and else, one second. If you write if, then Python knows what is if. If you write else, Python knows what is else. So you can see that keywords will be displayed in a different color here in the Google Colab, or even in VS Code. Keywords will be displayed in different color to help you differentiate them. See here, even import is a keyword because it's inbuilt. So Python knows what is import. You cannot use it as a variable name. Import is equal to something. You cannot write. You cannot do this because import has some special meaning which is already defined. You cannot reuse it as a variable name. To get all the list of keywords in the Python, you can do this one: import keyword. So keyword is a package and you are importing it. So that's in the how do you import it? You just write import keyword and then print keyword.kw list. So you can use this code to uh, print out the list of all keywords in Python. So you can see there are many keywords. So we have already discussed this valid identifier. X1 is a valid identifier, but 1x is not a valid identifier because it starts with a number. And apart from this types, str, int, and float, we have one more type, that is bool. Bool means a bool variable can take only two values, that is either true or false. For example, you can write some variable a is equal to true. Here, true is a keyword. True and false are keywords in Python. Note that it is a capital letter T. And now if you try to check the type of A, you can see that it prints bool. So this is another type, or it's not actually a data type. It is an object, meaning it is an object of type bool. So it can take only two values, that is true or false. So true and false are also keywords, and any relational expression or logical expression will return true or false. You will see that when we do operators. So we can skip it for now. There is one small example, that print n equal to m, n equals m. So this one checks whether n is equal to m, and it's a relational operator. Since here n is 5 and m is 6, since 5 is not equal to 6, it returns false, and so false will be printed. You'll see the relational operators later on, then you'll understand it. So some of the we need although the rules here are very simple. The You just have to use numbers and this and alphabets and underscore. You should not use any other special character. But there are some good practices that you should keep in mind while naming variables. It is better to keep the variable names um, understandable and relevant to the context. So if you want in your program, if you're storing the total score in a match, then you can name it as total score instead of simply giving some A or B, so that it will be readable that what you are storing actually. Suppose you do TS is equal to 100, then TS is not so descriptive. So if you write total score, it is more relevant to the context. So then so we have discussed constants or basically values, and then we have discussed variables. So now so how do you relate these constants and variables, or apart from the constants and variables, what do we have? We have something called as operators. So operators are some symbols which are used to perform different operations. Suppose we have plus is equal to etc. So here 2 and 3 are constants as we discussed before. If you ask their type, it is int, and this is an operator. So when you write this 2 plus 3, then this will become an expression where 2 and 3 are called as operands and plus is called an operator. Similarly, here x equal to 2, x and 2 will be operands, and equal to is an operator. X equal to 2 is a expression, or it is basically a statement in this case. So an operand can be a variable or a value. See here, x is a variable, 2 is a value, but both are operands. So you will discuss all these different types of operators in today's class in some time. So we have seen that expression is a combination of operands and operators, where operands can be either values or variables. So these are some expressions. So even if you write only one thing, either a variable or a literal or a constant, even this is an expression. So x plus 23 is an expression, x is an expression, 23 is an expression. When you assign an expression to a variable using equal to, it becomes a statement. So for example, here you have x plus y plus 3 into z. This is an expression. If you give it like this, then this is a statement. So a statement, as we discussed in the starting of today's class, that is basically an executable statement by Python interpreter. So a statement is a unit of code that the Python interpreter can execute. So when you write this one, then Python interpreter will know it can execute this, or it is an instruction which it can comprehend. That means it knows that it has to evaluate this expression and put it into W. So this is a statement. A statement need not always include a equal to operator. As you will later see, even there will be different scenarios, like you can call even print. So this is a statement, right? Although there is no equal to here. So because this is something which the Python interpreter can execute independently, or it's a separate unit which can be executed by Python interpreter. So print 0 tells it to print. So it is a statement. Okay, so next I will ask Bhavya Prabhu to take over.
Thank you, Sagar. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu.
Sagar, Prabhu, please make me the co-host. Sagar, Prabhu,
Krishna.
Prabhu, please make me the co-host.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So in this part, we will discuss some comments and indentation, and then we will move on to operators. So first, what are the comments? Comments are simple English statement that we write in our code. Uh, so why do we write the comments? They are usually used when we write a longer code, or when we are working on some project and there are some group of programmers that are working. So what happens that while writing a code, we needed to we write that why did we use this part, or why did we use write this specific part. So to just remember that thing, we write the comments. So what are the types of comments and how do we write them? The first is the single line comment. Single line comment, and it is used to and it is used to using writing the simple hash. So while writing your code, you just simply write that hash part, and then after whatever you will write, it will be simply read as a state as a simple comment by the compiler. No matter what you write, all of all of that follows after that hash part will be ignored by the compiler while executing the code. And now the how to write the multi-line comments. You can write multi-line comments using these single quotes or double quotes. They both work similarly. So this is a process. You here write start with the three quotes, three single or three double quotes, and end the part with the three single or double quotes. And it will be treated as a comment by the compiler or the while you run. So some shortcuts while you write the that commenting part. Commenting is used in one more type that when we are when we run our code, so we need to check some specific part of the code. If it is a long code, so what we do if it is a long code like Suppose if this is the part, suppose this is the code, and I want to just run this part only, and I want that compiler ignores this part. So whatever I do, I will just do it. I will convert it to a commenting part. What I do, I press Control plus the slash part. So it is a shortcut. Whatever you select the part, and then you click on Control plus slash part slash. Then that part will be converted to comment. So, and if you want to undo this effect, you press Control plus Z, or if you want to redo this effect, you press Control plus Y. Okay, I have written these shortcuts here: Control plus slash in Windows and Linux, or command plus slash for multi-line commenting, and Control plus Z for undo, and Control plus Y for redo effect. Now the second part, that indentation. Indentation is very important when we use the comments like if, operators like if, conditional statement like if else, and others. Uh, it is like in C or other language we use brackets to just wait. ठीक है. Guys, 5 minutes. Yes, sorry for the disturbance. In the indentation part, it is used like in C, we use the brackets for defining that the smaller part comes under that bigger statement. Like here in the first example, you can see we have used the if statement. If or if else, these are conditional statement that we will discuss later. So here, if a equal to 1, then print a. So this print a, we have given some space, 1 or 2 space before this, to show that this print part comes under that this if part. So we run it. It's taking quite a long time. Okay. अगर हम यहाँ पे मतलब इंडेंट नहीं करेंगे, ये स्पेस नहीं देंगे, so the compiler will show an error like I have removed the space, and yeah, it shows an error. It expected an indented block after is a one space, two space, or a tab, whatever. But there must be some indentation, and it must be properly aligned. Like the statement which followed this part must be in the same with the same number of spaces that we have used for the first part. If it is in the it comes in the same block, and like in the second example. we have indented in this print part, and in this return part, we have given the same space as in the print part. If we will give this some extra spaces, then it will be treated differently. It shows an error, an unexpected indent. So neither we have to indent more or less. It must be very correct and accurate. It is very important to indent properly, and it tells the compiler which blocks come under which part. Any doubt till here? Okay, so we move on to the second part. Some operators. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay. So the operators part. As Sagar Prabhu told that they are used to do some operations, and there are two parts while we write an expression, that is an operands and an operator. Like in this example, you can see. Hmm. Yeah. This a plus b, you can see there here a and b are operands, and this plus sign, this plus addition part is the operator. So first category is the arithmetic operators. They are simple arithmetic operators that we use in our regular maths: addition, subtraction, multiplication, true division, and floor division. True division gives us the quotient of a and b, like 4 divided by 2, it will give 2. And floor division, it if suppose if there is the question comes out to be in decimal place, so it will only give the part, it will give the part after removing the fraction part. Like I must show it. Like in this 2 division, it will give 11 divided by 2, it will give 5.5. In 2 division, it will give that whatever exact has to come. And in floor division, it will remove that floating part. Floating part means the part after the decimal. So it will give only the part that is before the decimal, that is only 5. This modulus gives the remainder. And exponential, it is a raised to the power b, the power part that we use in maths. Negation, like it is minus a is equivalent to like minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, that part. And unity plus, like plus charge, uh, we use that in maths. That it is very rarely used. We can do some questions on this. Okay, I just write some code and you tell me the answer of that. Okay, tell me the answer of this code. You can speak or write in the chat this part. need some more responses. कोई नहीं. Okay, let's see what Python says. Yeah, 0.0. Just one point I want to point out that in Python or in languages in programming, uh, whenever you see that 0.0 and 0, they both are different. If you write some code and you just ignore this part that 0.0 is same as 0, so it will cause a problem. In some some of you who have done C, in that part also, if some question comes if this were the question and you have written just 0, so I think a professor must have deducted your half marks. So it is important to make sure that you recognize that fact. It is if it is in decimal or in that without decimal. So it is basically because that we have used this question part, and then that remainder part this is coming. Two division, floor division we have covered, and bitwise operator. Ansh Prabhu, will you take over from here?
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Just one question.
Okay.
Does anyone have any doubt? Like some two, three persons have wrong answers, or any little doubt if you have.
You can speak if you have any doubt.
Speak or write anything.
Yeah. It is better if you speak.
Okay, I just advise you to do this some random exercise, write some random code, expression, and then run it. Before running it, you analyze yourself what will be the output, and then see whether you are correct or not. Because in many, then you will learn how which like in this also that board mass is applied, or if there were not no brackets, what would be the output, and how is this calculated. uh, you will learn that only when you write codes and write some random expressions that will help you a lot. Okay, Anshul, you can take over from there.
Bhavya,
Ji Prabhu.
it is already 4. I don't think we need to exceed the class. I will continue tomorrow.
Okay.
I think students might be bored. It
Mm-hmm.
is 1 hour.
Okay. Guys, we will share you all these files, and the remaining part is also very simple, and you just go through through all these slides, and whenever you are seeing these slides or preparing, first you just see and analyze what is happening, how is it happening, and then just go at any place, and then like this click on code and write some random things, whatever in that part which whatever is discussed, and try to do the random things, and then only you will analyze understand how it is run in a better way, because there are many things which are skipped in these explanations or explanation by us also, whether there will be decimal part or not, or some more things also. So you will learn that by that random part only. So do practice it sincerely. Anshul and Sagar, do you have to want to add something?
The rest of the part I will continue in the tomorrow session in the starting only. So please read the collab, or if you have any doubts, you can or write in the classroom or the WhatsApp. We will be there to respond you at any time. Uh, and please hit the collab. There may be some points which are missed. If you will read the and you find any something auspicious, let me know aware of us. And if you have any doubt related to today's lecture, please comment us or speak up. You are free to speak. We will clear it out on the spot.
And those who did not have any experience in programming, are they feeling it to be faster or slower? I hope other people are feeling it to be very slow, but uh, those who have no experience in programming, are we able to follow, or is it slow for you as well?
Please respond.
If it is
Guys,
slow
please
for
speak
everyone,
up
we can
because
speed up.
yeah, please speak up because it is also our first time that we are teaching like online and that's to online to you all. So we need to analyze that how we can better your next sessions.
Okay, Om and Harsh, uh, did you people know programming before?
Yes.
Those
Yes,
who
done in ASC.
those who do not have any experience in programming, uh, please respond. The question is mainly meant for you guys. Okay. Okay, fine. Uh, okay. In the starting sessions, we'll keep the speed as it is right now, uh, so that everyone can follow. After a few sessions, I think we can speed up. I think that will work. Okay.
Those who have done C, just you can do one thing. Whatever we have covered, try to use those multiple concepts in some one code because you already know that how the questions can be or how we can implement that. So on your own, you try to do some questions, or we can do one thing that we will send some questions so you can practice them.
Okay, we can also post
Please,
some
please.
practice questions, or we can post some link where they can practice. So those who have programming can engage themselves in practicing, because we'll be having a programming contest also. No need to worry. Those who are learning for the first time, they will also be able to do the programming contest. Others, if they are feeling bored, then you can go and practice there. Okay, if you do not have any doubts in today's session, we can end the session. Does anybody have any doubts? Okay, and those who are facing problem, please don't hesitate to contact. I think very less people contacted seniors. If you're not getting, please contact how seniors about any error you are getting while setup. Okay, it is important because it is important for your practice as well.
If you are unable to set up, please do the practice in collab. At least that will be good for the practice.
Hmm. Okay, can we end
Every
this?
slide will be posted. Every slide.
Can we end the meet? Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.